questions, which we'd be happy to entertain.
On the ballot initiative portion, would you be targeting the company that collects the signatures, or would you be actually targeting the, I don't want to use his name, but Wasserman, that group had problems with fraudulent signatures? Who would be responsible for the fraudulent signatures?
Well, whoever knowingly pays for a fraudulent signature or engages in applying a fraudulent signature. If we had a document where someone actually put one person's name 30 times on the document, we'd want to find who in fact did that.
So it'd be the employee, but not the person who hired him?
It'd be who did it. It'd be, this is a criminal statute, so it's not a strict liability matter. It's a matter of knowing who actually did it. You'd have to prove it in court.
Would there be a big burden proving that they knowingly knew that, though?
Well, if we can establish that you put one person's name more than once on a page, I don't think the knowingly, the mens rea would not be difficult to establish, I don't think.
As y'all might remember, in Mississippi County, they were incredibly efficient up there. Those petition ballots were in alphabetical order signed that were turned in there. So also in requiring the canvasser, the paid canvassers to register with the Secretary of State's office, they will be required to take training of what is legal and what isn't.
Do you feel these measures will make it more difficult for an initiated act to appear on the ballot?
It'll be more difficult to get an initiated act on the ballot through fraud, and that's the point.
On the criminal statute, what all office holders would that pertain to? Just state level, or how far down will that go?
It's all persons who would run for office in Arkansas.
On the county level, city level as well?
And yes.
And just to be clear, the SB 343 has already been filed. The other two have not been filed yet?
The other two, I believe, will be filed today.
They have been. One is SB, I don't have my glasses, 821, and the other is 822, SB 822. Those two have been filed this morning. The felons running for office or the background check will be filed either tomorrow.
Actually,
or
I have filed it. We're amending.
Would that be automatic, or would somebody have to request that background check?
In order for you to run for office now, you have to pay a filing fee, sign a political practices pledge. If this bill becomes law, you as a candidate, if you wish to run, will have to sign a criminal background check waiver, which you would have to do now if you applied for employment in various employers or went to work in my office or in various other levels of government. And at that time, the background check is run by the state police, as they do for other employers. And the results will be provided under seal to the Secretary of State's office. Secretary of State's office then notifies the candidate if there is a question in that person's background. And all of that is not public. It's up to the candidate. Their privacy is protected, but if they choose to remain on the ballot, the Attorney General and the prosecuting attorney will be copied on that. And if they are in fact ineligible to serve, then it'll be up to either the prosecutor or the Attorney General to remove them. And there will be a penalty, an added penalty in this statute of a fine up to $25,000 if they stay on the ballot knowing that they have a disqualifying criminal conviction. Also, the cost for the background check will be borne by the candidate, roughly a $20 fee.
A question for the senators of Representative Love. I see some of your colleagues behind you. I mean, how would you describe the support? I mean, do you have majority support? Is this a slam dunk? Is this going to be difficult?
I mean, you never want to overly categorize or predict anything. It has bipartisan support. The integrity of our election system is something that all of us hold sacred, and all citizens should hold sacred. And we have difficulty working through various solutions. These are common sense solutions with bipartisan support that should help the public to have faith in the system, whether you're trying to amend the Constitution, run an initiated act, or run for school board. And so that's the point.
And you talk about election integrity. Is there any overlap in the absentee part you're talking about with like Senator King's SB2 absentee addresses? I mean, what are your thoughts there?
There probably will be. I haven't looked completely at his absentee part, but this will make working with the county clerks that deal with the absentee ballots and the election commission. It's pretty comprehensive reform. And I'd also like to add that He's not here because he's upstairs, but Senator Eddie Joe Williams is a sponsor on these legislation as well.
Would your bill require an ID to obtain an absentee ballot? Like
Yes,
Peterson's?
it does.
How much of this is reactionary to some of the issues that came up in the class election? Stuff with Hudson Holland, especially with absentee ballots.
I can say that I approached legislators and the Secretary of State's office in 2011 with measures very similar to this at the time. There were questions then about how we would develop some of the themes throughout these and work out some of the fine points. So we didn't run the legislation then, but certainly the examples that you have mentioned and others only affirm that the work we started in 2011 needs to be concluded in 2013.
Got time for one more question? Maybe just kind of overall the message you're trying to transmit to the state and people who are, going to be reading this and watching this. Are elections okay now? I mean, are they,
I think that people can and should have faith in our elections right now. But I also believe that it is wise to do the very best we can to see where there are problems in any system, whether it's transportation, healthcare, elections, you name it. And when you find a problem, do your best to address it. Other members are doing so this session. We consider this not to be in competition with any other legislation, but merely in the course that we have chosen to take. And I think that it's wise to do, and it only reaffirms to the people that that we are working to make sure that their vote counts, that their vote is not canceled out by someone else voting fraudulently, and the people that they elect can and should be in a position to represent the interests of the people.
Thank you all.